and the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force is with me. So be it, Jedi.
Hey everyone, guess what? It's Thursday night again, and we are here at the Cantina Happy Hour. Hope you had a great week. We had an awesome episode of Mando. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Before we get started, my name's David. I am the host of the GNN Cantina Happy Hour. With me, as always, is Debbie. How are you tonight, Debbie? Oh, Debbie has Chewy with her, too.
Doing good.
Dealing with the cat. Also with us tonight, as always, is Cam from Cam and Focus. How are you, Cam?
Doing good. How are you?
Oh, I'm this side of the daisies, so I must be okay.
Outstanding.
Also with us tonight, making a special guest appearance, Mr. John Ambrose.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, hey. Always nice to have you on. So, tonight, before we jump into this amazing episode of Mandalorian, I want to talk a little bit about Celebration. We in case you didn't know, if you are within the Star Wars universe and you shout out to Debbie for being cool.
That's like a yearbook thing.
Aren't I always?
Stay cool. Stay cool.
There's someone cool in there? Where are they? Behind you?
No,
I think
the best
you
one was
mean
from
my
you.
cat Chewy. That's who's cool, not me.
Stay frosty.
Thank you.
So anyway, in case you didn't know, during if you live in the Star Wars universe and you didn't know this, chances are you've been living under a rock. We had Celebration this past weekend. A lot of good announcements, a lot of cool stuff. We talked a bit about it on Friday night. We had a special edition of the Cantina Happy Hour Friday night where we talked that, and we had Debbie and awesome. Appreciate it. And for I guess I can show that one. I'm trying to engage and push the algorithm. We love it. Push that algorithm.
Share it to all four corners of this flat earth.
That's right. So we had they had a trailer for Ahsoka, which was, if you haven't seen the trailer for Ahsoka, go see it because it's very exciting. I get goosebumps still every time. I can't wait for this show, and unfortunately, we have to wait until August. But that's okay. If it's good, it's worth waiting for, is my opinion. So, we got the announcement of 3 new movies, which was great. Dave Filoni, Sam, is it Goodman?
No. James Mangold.
James Mangold. Wow, Sam. And then the other one, I'm not even going to try and pronounce her name because I know I'm going to get it wrong.
Charmaine Abode, I think it is.
Okay.
Charmaine Abode? Yeah.
As good as any.
She's a documentary filmmaker.
She directed Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
There you go. She directed Miss Marvel. And then, of course, Dave Filoni. The clouds part, the sun shines down upon Dave Filoni.
The seas part.
These will not be trilogy movies. In other words, it's not going to be a continuing story. These are like all over. You've got the Mangold one happens like thousands of years before the Republic.
25,000 years before the Skywalker saga.
So yeah, so a long time ago, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. The Filoni one happens closer to the end of Mandalorian. Ahsoka basically he said it's going to tie everything together. It's going to tie all the series together. And then the other one, the lady one, happens after Rise of Skywalker, and actually they're bringing Daisy Ridley back as Rey. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to see those. We got the Thrawn announcement. And I know, Debbie, why don't you tell us how you're feeling about all of this? Because we know that's a you like
That's
that
a Debbie
one.
thing.
Yeah.
Yes, Thrawn is probably book-wise at least. And I liked him in Rebels too, but book-wise, the Thrawn trilogy. Holy crap. Wow.
Well,
Well,
now that they're
they got the
now-
announcement of the actor playing Thrawn. That was the big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they got is it Lars or is it Mads?
Lars.
It's
Lars.
Lars. Okay.
Yeah.
They're brothers, so I'm allowed to confuse them.
They
Anyway,
control half of Hollywood.
yeah. So Lars
Can,
Mickelson is coming back as he voiced Thrawn in Rebels,
Yes.
and now he's coming back to physically portray the character, which is great.
Mads
And I think
Mikkelsen
I
only
said
comes
that-
in if someone's fired and they need to replace somebody. That's when you see Mads Mikkelsen.
And I
Lars
think
is
I
actually-
said that a long time ago that he was going to be the voice.
Yeah,
A long time ago.
in a galaxy far, far away.
Nobody believed me.
I did.
We got some.
It's not that we didn't believe you. We just didn't think you were right.
That's right.
All right, I'll take that.
I want to try this because this was a new thing, but I want to try it. We're gonna look at some of this. Hey, look here, it works. Okay. The producer has confirmed that the titular Mandalorian is no longer considered to be just Din Djarin, as season 3 explores more of the Mandalorians as a people instead of a person. That was tweeted out on Friday. On Thursday, the last show that we had on Thursday, I said the same thing. Go back and watch the show. I called it first. So
See, this
And
is
I
how we know
think-
that Filoni is watching.
yeah, exactly. We know Filoni's watching.
We
So-
have influence, people.
I'm telling you.
Influence.
I think they're retconning this wordplay because Pedro Pascal is going to leave. And it's kind of like they have to save face.
The
Well,
masses would riot if
I
he.
think they
He's
would.
getting big for the show. They said the same thing when
No.
George Clooney left ER and that ginger guy left the cop show with Dennis Franz. And no, sometimes it gets bigger than the show.
But you're talking
David Caruso.
TV, and this is streaming. This
TV.
is Disney.
Yeah. Well, but you know what though, John, for that argument, Sam Jackson's about to do a streaming on TV thing.
I
So
get it, but
nobody's above it. If they pay
I
him
think
enough,
I'm not saying he's above it. I'm saying he's got a full schedule. I'm saying
And-
his star is rising and he's working everywhere.
I know. And
Yeah.
if he likes money, he wants to continue working. What else we got? We got James Mangold. This was a tweet put out by or quoting James Mangold saying that his Star Wars film is inspired by Ben-Hur and the Ten Commandments. It's a chance to tell the entire story of its own, the birth of the Force, and where did it come from? How was it founded? Who was the first Jedi? So this is, he says Ben-Hur and Ten Commandments, and all I can think is like big epic,
And see,
hundreds
that scares me because people would say that, and then people, like you are thinking, oh my God, it's going to be like epic. And then it's a letdown.
Yeah.
Well, there's that, and then I also can't wait to see all the tweets that come out talking about how he killed the Force whenever he tells his story about the origins of it.
Oh, I wonder if he'll touch midichlorians. Hmm.
Oh,
Oh,
God,
I hope so.
not.
I
No.
hope so. I want to see the absolute nuclear eruption that would come from that.
George Lucas is going to enter the studio in like a Groucho Marx eyeglasses and mustache, and just be like, "Let's talk about midichlorians," and then just run off.
I mean, that was George's.
Yeah.
What he had planned for the trilogy, and I'm like, no, I don't care where the Force.
And
The
that's the thing.
midichlorian microverse.
Yeah, that's the thing people don't
Yeah.
realize. Someone interviewed him, and he was like, "Yeah, I would have made it, and you guys probably would have hated it." And then he just trailed off.
Mhm. Yeah.
This next one deals with Acolyte Li Zhongzhe. Am I saying that right? I hope. Will star as a Jedi Master in the Acolyte. There was a lot of. I think there's some in here. There's some cast photos of the Acolyte too. Skeleton Crew. That's very exciting. I've always loved the Force and its interpretations as an allegory for spirituality and God in Star Wars. So there you go. So this was Skeleton Crew, which premieres late this year. We still don't have a month, but being that they said late this year, my guess is probably going to be like the last week of December will be the season premiere.
Oh, Biscotti, come on. You can always count on John.
Here it is. This is the cast picture for Acolyte. The cast. We've got one of the big tall guy there on the right is a Jedi Wookiee. We're gonna have a Jedi Wookiee in this one.
He looks surprised to be there.
He looks excited to be there. And
yeah, well, it's not Chewie, but he's playing another Wookiee.
He's playing a Wookiee. I mean,
that's awesome.
If you're tall like that, you have two ambitions in this life: NBA basketball or Star Wars.
And
or
then
maybe a Bond villain. Maybe a Bond villain. But
the only other girl I even recognize is the what's her name? Daphne. Played
Daphne Keane.
Yeah, played Mini Wolverine.
Okay.
And Logan.
Yeah. What is she wearing exactly?
Are those Jinkos cut off?
Are those like low riding Jinkos? That's exactly what I was gonna say. That's exactly what that looks like.
And they're backwards. That's definitely a back pocket.
But there's a belt there too, so it's like.
Is the Mac Daddy gonna make her jump?
Wow.
No one got that reference? Okay.
It's the Daddy Mac. Daddy Mac will make you jump. Anyway.
Interesting.
And that's the end of my slideshow. It was just something I was messing around with this week while we were talking. But anyway, a lot of cool stuff coming out from Celebration. A lot of cool stuff coming out for Star Wars. We get Ahsoka in June. August.
Yeah.
And then Skeleton Crew in
probably
late this year.
Late November, early December.
Acolyte, and I think that's it. Oh, Bad Batch. Bad Batch has got one more season. 3 seasons of the Bad Batch.
Andor season 2 next year.
Andor season 2 is also next year.
And we're
they are currently filming that, by the way.
We're also getting another season of Visions and another season of Tales of the Jedi.
Now, the Visions one is more than like the last set of Visions was like 6 episodes, and I think they said this one's like 12 because they had such a huge, overwhelming response. And it's not all anime. There's a whole lot of different art styles. They've got cartoonists from the Netherlands, the guys from Britain who did Wallace and Gromit are doing one.
Oh, nice.
So it's Wallace and Gromit
Star
Jedi
Wars.
Knights. Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of the trailer's online. I don't have it with me, but the trailer's online. Go check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Did they say which Jedi?
Oh wow. Okay, I thought it was only 6. I didn't. I watched like half of them maybe.
Did they say which Jedi they're going to focus on in the new Tales from the Jedi?
They have not. They have not announced that. So that poses a good question. What 2 Jedi would y'all like to see them focus on?
So,
and if you say Ahsoka and Dooku, it doesn't count because they already did those 2.
Honestly, if they're gonna go Tales of the Jedi, I want them to go all the way. I want freaking Exar Kun.
Oh,
I want Exar Kun.
Revan, maybe.
I'll do one better. I want the guy. Why is the name escaping me? The guy who sanctioned the clones.
Hang on. Cypher, Cypher
Cypher
Yeah,
Diaz.
Cypher
Diaz.
Diaz.
Cypher Diaz.
He's been mentioned a lot. I want to see something on Cypher Diaz.
Yeah. Oh, this would be a good one too, Andrew. Thank you. That Kellerman on that desk. Yep.
Kit
That would be
Fisto. You have some good ones there.
Kit Fisto would be good. Plo Koon, I think, would be cool.
Boss would be cool.
Ooh, I could get down with Quinlan Boss.
The weird looking guy that was always a hologram in the episodes 1 through 3. He had he was like a cone head.
Yeah, Kiadi
Mundi.
Yeah.
That and actually, there's some interesting backstory on him because he's actually married, if I remember the lore correctly, and that's maybe legends. But he's got several wives, in fact.
Yeah, because
that's part of his
species was almost extinct, so he was allowed to have many wives, attachments, so they could repopulate.
See, that's why Anakin wasn't turning to the dark side. That's why he killed all those little kids. He was just trying to thin the herd so he could marry Padme.
Oh. Makes perfect sense.
I was really hoping they would do a Tales of the Sith. That's what I was really hoping. We don't get enough.
I agree. And see, that's where Exar Kun and Revan would have come in, and you could have played that one. But
well, here's the thing, though. I mean, a Tales of the Sith series would be a bit harder to market towards the kids.
Yeah.
In a way.
Well, I mean, they're starting to go that route because Andor, not a kids show.
No.
I mean, even The Mandalorian, you could argue, isn't really a kids show either. So they're tiptoeing into the more mature themes of Star Wars, but I feel like if they just went all the way and did like a Tales of the Sith type thing, I think it would be a little jarring for a lot of the audience.
Maybe a little,
but I think that the Acolyte series is going to be a pretty good segue into something like that because
I'm hoping.
I want a good dark side story. We don't get any of those.
Couldn't we argue that Tales of the Sith was kind of last season with Count Dooku? I mean, he
little bit. They touched on it, but not really. It didn't really
go. He killed Yoda.
He killed Yaddle. Yeah, but that wasn't until like the end of his story arc.
Yeah, it was at the very end, so it wasn't too jarring. I mean,
Darth Bane animated miniseries. Darth Bane's actually been introduced into canon, so that wouldn't be bad at all.
Wasn't too big on his design though. He looked like a skeleton samurai. Whereas Darth Bane in the books is described as being like, 6 feet 8 inches tall, completely bald.
Right.
I'd like to see something on General Grievous, and his backstory is interesting because he wasn't always bad, but the Jedi screwed his planet over, and that's what made him hate the Jedi.
Yeah,
I'd like to see
a robot.
I'd like to see General Grievous before he becomes a robot and joins the Separatists.
I just want to see
that doesn't count as a Tale of the Jedi, though.
No, I'm just saying if we're going to do animated series, it's Tales of the Sith. I'd like to see them expand that into a character like Grievous too.
No, we'll have Tales of the Sith and then Scum and Villainy, to where we cover everybody else.
Tales of the Bounty Hunters. Let's go.
Yeah. Hey, Smuggler's Tales. Let's throw it all. We'll just open all cans of worms.
All I want is IG-88's backstory.
Have one on Greedo with his dad just saying, "Remember, son, never shoot first."
If you do Tales of the Bounty Hunters, you could go back and retcon Book of Boba Fett too. Just saying.
Give some kind of explanation to how Han was able to frame jump to the side when Greedo shot at him.
Yeah, right. Oh, Lordy. Okay, so anyway, a lot of cool stuff coming out of Celebration. Anyway, we'll get to that when we get to it. Let's talk Mandalorian.
Yes.
Let's talk. Yeah, Debbie, what did you think of this episode?
Oh my God, so much lore. name dropping. I mean, we've seen Palian. Holy crap! I mean, it's all leading up to
Heir to the Empire.
use.
What?
Yeah.
If you have not read Heir to the Empire yet, I would strongly recommend that you go. Doing it is required reading. Yes, it's Legends, but God help me, it's
Some of the best Star Wars
best of
stuff
the
out there.
Legends.
I
yeah.
get the feeling they're going to work that slowly into the lore. So
Well, and they have, and the Ahsoka trilogy really confirmed it.
I
I
feel like I bought the wrong
Filoni-
books because they're all labeled Dairy Heir of the Empire.
I think the Filoni movie will bring that all into.
Yeah. So we had
But the episode was fire. So
Oh, Debbie, don't.
as the kids say,
no.
it was lit.
it was lit.
it was
It
lit.
was awesome.
I hate you for that.
My
It was
old ass-
totally tubular, dude.
That's more like it. See, bring back the good old 1980s slang. It
Nope.
was so choice.
No,
Far
I
out,
use,
man.
I use the current slang because I'm old and I love crushing the souls of the youngins. Like I'll say it, and it's like it's not cool anymore.
It's not cool anymore. Old people said it. I thought about getting a man bun just to see if those would go away. And
Now I know how my dad. Now I know how my dad felt when he said something was fat.
so anyway, Andrew says yes. They introduced the live-action Paleon in this episode, very prominent in the Thrawn trilogy. You are correct. There've actually been several mentions besides Thrawn himself. You had Captain Paleon, the cloning facility in the Bad Batch is on Mount Tantus, which is where the cloning facility in Heir to the the Last Command. That's that end of that trilogy. That's where that cloning facility is. So they've been doing a lot of Easter eggs. Ahsoka in her trailer says Thrawn has declared himself heir to the Empire.
Oh, she said it. She said it.
Oh, there it is. She said it.
Yeah, I literally almost crapped my pants when she said that. I was like, what? I had to rewind and go back and watch it to make sure I heard right.
Yeah.
She said hair to the Empire. God.
It
What
was
else
about
they did?
Chewbacca.
There was Hux was in this episode.
Hux is
He's
dead.
he's not General Hux. He's Commander Hux.
Well, that's Hux's father, though.
Yeah.
So he's working on what was it? Project Necromancer.
Yep. The Sith Eternal. Yay!
Ooh. No, Ray.
Isn't
Bring
Ray
back
Stevenson?
Palpatine.
Isn't
No,
Ray
it's-
Stevenson Darth Maul? No,
that's Ray Park.
It's Ray Park.
That's Ray.
Ray
Park,
Stevenson is the guy in the Ahsoka trailer with the orange lightsaber.
Oh.
We'll have to see if I could find that, and we'll bring up we'll have to show the Ahsoka trailer. Anyway. So Project Necromancer, which we all know that, well, we don't know. We can
We
strongly
hypothesize.
we can strongly assume that they're talking about cloning. And in fact, because he even said it, one of the lines was, what the Empire needs is new leadership, which is what Project Necromancer is doing, or something along that line. That's the reason we have Project Necromancer, because we need new leadership. It was like...
No, he was referring to Thrawn because Thrawn is never present in
Well, he was referring to Thrawn and saying, we can't just keep relying on a leader that's hiding. We've got Project Necromancer, and that will require new leadership. And I'm just looking at it going, they're talking about the Emperor. Do you people not see? I thought they were supposed to retcon the sequel trilogies. Are you people crazy?
Oh my God! It's like it was all meant to be.
And then
Like
my favorite is their shift when you point that out. And they're like, "Well, I know how it ends because there's no Mandalorians in the sequel trilogy," and it's like that doesn't mean anything. This is about it's about Rey, who has no idea what or where Mandalore is.
There's no Ahsoka in the original trilogy, so where was she? Like,
Thank
come
you.
on, people.
It's called a universe. Am I taking crazy pills?
Yeah. You got
It's
two
like-
brain cells, rub them together.
We've got the suspension of disbelief here, and what it is you've got to think that it's a big galaxy. So yeah, they may not run into each other, except when they want them to. I mean, it was the same thing with Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. New York is a big city, huge. The chances of Kevin running into Harry and Lloyd were like 1 in millions. So, whatever. I'll get off on my
It's called the
I go off on a
suspension of
tangent.
disbelief. You're right.
suspension of disbelief.
And I mean, it's like this is a galaxy that was created, and like we don't know about 99% of it. Things are just mentioned, and you're gonna
Yeah.
sit there and nitpick and be like, well, there's no Mandalorians in the sequel trilogy, so they're clearly gonna get annihilated. Yes, and all those rebels that were in Rebels got annihilated, while the other rebels were fighting on the other half of the galaxy. So,
Yeah, what do you, it's. I just again, I'm loving the fact that all these people who have been screaming retcon the sequel trilogy. That's what Dave Filoni's doing, and no, Dave Filoni is basically confirming it.
He's doing what the expanded universe is supposed to do: make the movies better.
Right.
if anything, that's what I was about
what
to
it
say.
does.
He's enhancing the sequel trilogy because he's answering a lot of questions that I had. So, I mean,
Exactly. No,
So-
I mean, it's silly, you know. But you could serve Star Wars fans a 5-course dinner, and they'll complain that the plates weren't round enough.
yeah.
It's absurd.
I don't have the sound on, but we'll just let it play in the background.
Yeah, we don't
just
want to
because.
get copyrighted.
No, we did. We showed it on Friday night and we didn't get copyrighted. So we got copyrighted last week because of the Galactic Empire. Galactic Empire. We love you guys, friends of the show. Go look them up on YouTube. They're great. But
Cat.
if I play their music, they copyright me. So, yeah, there's Ray Stevenson and orange lightsabers. I'm hoping we get something more than. It's not Sith, but it's not Jedi, and I'm not.
Would it
gonna
be
go
a
crazy.
color between white and black?
Well,
No.
Filoni said in one of the panels that it was kind of a throwback to the original Star Wars poster. If you look at Darth Vader's lightsaber, it's more orange than it is.
Well, hold on
really
a
red.
minute. Hold on just a second, because I think Debbie, do you have that poster hanging up behind you? Yes, you do. Other way. Yeah, look at that. I wish I could zoom in.
Quick,
I
zoom in
actually have-
enhance.
I've got the exact same poster hanging over there, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Darth
more
Vader's-
orange than it is
Right.
red.
So no, his not Jorah Sabaoth. It's gosh, I can't even think of it. They gave him a name.
Balin.
Balin something or another.
Something, yeah.
So this
Or
is
is
a
that a
completely new
mislead?
character.
I could be a mislead. Or a misdirect.
Well,
that's
when I
that's
saw him in
Marvel.
the trailer, I felt like Kieran Culkin in Scott Pilgrim. Look out! It's that one guy.
It's that guy. Anyway, back to the Mandalorian, since we're supposed to be talking about that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we're
we
having
are?
a lot of fun. Yeah, I know. We're all over the place.
I'm just gonna log
Higgledy
out
piggledy
now.
here on the happy hour tonight. We've got he also asked for reinforcements for his interceptors. He asked for a bomber. it was A bomber or TIE bombers and Praetorian guards, which again, Cam, I knew you would just like, yeah, exactly, do that.
As soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, the rumors were true.
Are they going to explain why he was dressed like Darth Vader?
They kind of did. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But he's always dressed like Darth Vader.
Yeah, but I never noticed the chest plate before.
Well, he had something similar in the first couple of seasons of Mando.
Right.
Yeah, I think he is constantly upgrading because this guy, Moff Gideon, he is a fanboy who obsesses over everything. I mean, he obsesses over the Mandos. There's talk that he might even be a Mando. The helmet is throwing me off because, gee whiz,
It's horned.
looks just like the armor.
It looks like the Maul helmet. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got the red
Right.
in it. So, yeah.
And the best improvement to this armor is that I'm in it.
I about died when he said that. I was like, cocky much.
To be fair, Giancarlo
fair.
Esposito is the best thing about anything he wears.
This is true. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
He always looks nice when he's out and about.
So anyway, then we get the Mandalorians, or they've decided to go back to. Well, actually, before they even decide to go back to Mandalore, Bo-Katan has got to convince them all to work together to reclaim Mandalore.
Yeah, I've got a theory about this, and I'll let all of you go first. But I developed kind of a theory by the end of the episode about this.
Okay.
After, yeah,
What you got?
False.
okay. So when they go back, from what'd you say?
Mephisto.
When they go back to Mandalore, right, and they find I don't know what to call them, Mandalorian pirates, and they're all dining together, and Bo-Katan admits that she made a raw deal with Moff Gideon, right?
Right.
And she says he betrayed her and annihilated most of the Mandalorians. I think the armorer may have made the same deal. Because if you'll notice, shortly after that speech, the armor's like, these guys need to go back to the sick bay. I'm getting out of here. And then she leaves. And then all of a sudden, this territory that she's been telling everybody not to go to because it's contaminated is discovered to be like a General Motors plant for TIE fighters.
Yeah.
And so I think that either the armorer is saving her own skin or the armorer got a raw deal. But I don't think the armorer's hands are clean in any of this because no one would go on that planet without her knowing. And so I think something is going to develop with the armor, whether it's in the finale or in the beginning of next season.
How dare you, J'accuse!
Spy, I say.
Yeah. Bo convinces all the Mandalorians to pack up and leave, which, by the way, the light cruiser taking off was just amazing. I actually was watching don't shoot me, but I was watching Rise of Skywalker today, and the scene where they're all getting ready to go to Exegol and the Tantive 4 takes off and is flying. I just love scenes like that.
Is this like a Catholic thing where you got punished for doing something bad, so they put Rise of Skywalker in the VCR?
No, I just started watching it several weeks ago, and I only got about halfway through. And I hate my Disney when my Disney Plus thing says continue watching, and there's a whole lot of crap on there. Just like let me finish watching it, and then I can clear it out.
They're telling all the priests, you don't need to flog yourself anymore. Just put this in the DVD player.
Hey, it's fun. It's Star Wars. Dang it.
It has its moments. I mean, to be fair, some of my favorite character moments in the sequel trilogy are in that movie. It's just the stuff around it is just.
Anyway, So she convinces everybody to work together. They come up with this plan of we're going to go find the Great Forge. We're going to relight it. And then we'll set up a perimeter, and then we'll bring everybody down, and we can start to take over. They get down there. There is the pirate Mandalorians, which, man, I love that whole sequence. And mainly because just the last couple of weeks I've been on kind of a big pirate kick. I've watched the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I've watched Treasure Island, the old Treasure Island. I've watched Muppet Treasure Island. I watched
Swiss
Shipwreck,
Family Robinson,
Moby Dick. I'm just very much into a seafaring mode. And so when they showed up on this ship and then they're all running, oh, it's off the starboard bow. I'm like, happy pills. But these guys were left here. They made it. They survived the assault, and they've just been living on this desolate world, waiting for somebody to come back and get them. And everybody thought the world was cursed.
I would like them to do a standalone episode where you see what exactly happened to Mandalore.
The purge of Mandalore.
Yeah, I'd like to see that because it's mentioned a lot. It's kind of like they should.
Well, they mentioned it in this episode too.
Yeah,
I think Gideon did. Make my purge complete. But one thing I gotta ask: what was the deal with the big monster?
Oh, I have no idea.
They didn't kill it or anything. It just smashed the boat and then it was gone.
It was planned.
it was a plan to get rid of a couple of extras. They're expensive.
No, it was the plan to get them to go where they wanted to go.
It was the only Star Wars role that Nicolas Cage would accept.
Oh, of course. Makes perfect sense. I thought it was Kevin Bacon, but whatever. I'll go with that. So I was just I watched it. I watched it 2 or 3 times. I watched this episode 2 or 3 times, and I'm just looking at it going, why was that there? Other than to smash their ship, because that's all it did.
It was a trap. It was a trap.
Okay, I thought them going down to the forge, and then all of a sudden, all the stormtroopers showing up. Which,
Another trap.
Yeah. No, that was an ambush. They said that's an ambush.
Yeah, that's an ambush. But
it wasn't a trap. It's an ambush.
I mean, coinky dink, don't you think that, they get attacked, just at the perfect place where, they needed to go, hide in a cave, and, it leads them down into the,
It was the Force.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining the monster like right below the surface, with Moff Gideon standing next to it with a cattle prod, and then as soon as the boat glides over the surface, he just goes.
Do it.
Which and you had to think that Moff Gideon probably knew they were there from like the moment they landed.
Oh, without a doubt.
So it was.
Well, you can't be that arrogant and be stupid, or else you die.
Well, and for him, I mean that, because he's the one that was in charge of the purge of Mandalore, according to lore so far, and because he wants to finish his purge. But you got to think, what was so good? Mandalorians had Beskar. You can get that on Mandalore. He can make his TIE fighters out of Beskar. He can do all this stuff, and it's like, well, no wonder you purged it. You wanted the dadgum planet for yourself. That's exactly, and in fact, when they walked up on the base there, the Imperial base, Luke said, that makes perfect sense. That actually is quite perfect, because he's the one that destroyed Mandalore, and so why wouldn't he build his base there? That'd be the last place anybody would ever look for him.
That's why I think the armor made a backdoor deal with him. You can mine there, you can have all the Beskar armor, but leave my people alone. And then he didn't have to worry about them when they were fractured. But once he figured out that they were coming together, he knew that they'd be a problem.
Yeah. I don't know. So the stormtrooper, what about the armor of these stormtroopers? What did we think of this?
I almost thought that they were the Imperial Super Commandos from Rebels, but they almost look like I mean, obviously Beskar notwithstanding, they almost look like prototype First Order stormtroopers.
I kind of got the same vibe from it. So, and
It might have been kind of a combination.
Yeah,
we're still what 20 some odd 20 plus years 20 years
25-ish
from
The Force Awakens.
So
yeah, by then the First Order had already been active for at least a few years.
Right, because I mean they'd been active long enough for Leia to have mounted a resistance against them.
Yeah.
So you know we've been through all of this, and something I forgot. And Debbie, I don't care if you want to call it this. That was not Grogu's first words.
Oh,
it wasn't.
no.
Okay.
No.
I was like, oh, Debbie's gonna sit there and say that was his first words.
No. But
So
hilarious.
it was great. Oh, it was amazing. And
No, it was not. Try watching that with a toddler.
I won't those.
She was running around smashing things, going, yes, 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 yes. I was like, oh, come on.
So Grogu, they created IG-12 from the remnants of IG-11. IG-12 was more of a Gundam battle suit for Grogu, if that's a good way to put that. We also had another Babu Frick on there with one line that was just completely amazing. No, bad baby. No squeezing.
Yeah, but so whenever the what is the Anzellan? Is that what the species is called?
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that.
So that line was just the audio from the first episode put into that. Because I mean the bad baby they could kind of get away with, but whenever he said no squeezy, I'm like, that was the same audio. Come on, you couldn't get the actor back in to do another line.
There was a Simpsons episode where they talked about something like that, where it was the episode where Homer was playing the dog on Itchy and Scratchy. And they had the girl voiced both Itchy and Scratchy, and she said, "Oh, and I also voiced the Roadrunner, Meep." And he goes, "Don't you mean Meep Meep?" And he goes, "No, they were too cheap to pay for two. They only paid for one, and then they just doubled it." I was like, "Yeah, sure. Why? Don't bring the voice actor back in. We've already got a clip. We're good."
That's the same episode when Ned Flanders just shows up to the window randomly when they're talking about voice actors. He goes, and the best thing about voice actors is if someone drops out and you praise them, they won't be able to tell the diddly difference. And it's like clearly a different voice.
Yeah. So anyway, they cut off the Imperials, cut off Mando from the rest of the Mandalorians. Grogu, why did he let Grogu go down onto the away team with them? That didn't make any sense to me.
Well, they weren't.
I mean, he got his battle suit, but
they weren't expecting to find a full fleet of Imperials down there.
I mean, at that point, what do you do? Tell him to run back alone? I mean,
he did it in that.
Like Debbie
episode.
said, you didn't expect to stumble upon a.
Yeah, because they'd already been there and didn't run into any Imperials. I mean, some monsters, but yeah, no Imperials.
Anyway, they cut off Mando. They capture Mando, and they haul him off. And the rest of the Mandalorians are basically stuck. Pos Vizsla. Oh, this.
Bo.
I didn't like this. Pos Vizsla. If you haven't seen the episode, Pos Vizsla dies.
Well,
He died at the end. No, he died.
I saw that coming.
I didn't want that to happen.
I know, but in science fiction, anytime a Far Side character starts to get a storyline and you introduce him to the family and he starts to get dialogue, it's like, yeah, this guy's gonna die.
This guy's about to go.
This guy's about to go. He's
All
not
that
long
was
for this
missing
world.
was the red shirt.
Like, here, meet my kids. I'm gonna die in 2 episodes.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought the way that they did it was really cool because he has that really cool chain gun kind of thing, and
Yeah.
he just fired it until it literally melted down in his hands. Then he pulled out his vibroblade, which was really cool. Nice to see one of those in Star Wars, and he was just melee combating. And now he was not fighting the stormtroopers; he was fighting the Praetorian guards at that point.
You thought he won, and then all of a sudden you saw
Yeah.
the Praetorian guards come out.
They showed up,
Yeah.
and there was 3
My
of them.
boys. My boys. Yes. Awesome. As a, honestly, when the Praetorian started walking across the screen, and you just saw from like his hip down, I was like, oh, it's Moff Gideon. He's coming to finish him off. And then I saw like it's the whip, but it was still assembled, and I saw that it was glowing. I was like, oh, no.
No, we're supposed to be retconning the sequel trilogy.
God, that was so good.
You don't understand. I didn't like these movies. We need to get rid of them and not make them.
And not tie them together.
So, Star Wars Theory is going to make a video about why the Mandalorian takes place in an alternate universe.
Yeah.
And their helmets were different from what they were in the sequel trilogy too.
But again, you got to think you're dealing with a time some 20 years prior to that movie, so.
Yeah, for all we know, the Praetorians could be part of some kind of organization.
Well, I'm just saying the helmets were Mandalorian. They had the visor in it.
The Praetorian guards also evolved from a previous guard that guarded the Emperor, didn't they? And then,
they evolved from the Emperor Royal Guard, which evolved from. If you go back and watch the Clone Wars, if you go back and watch Episode 1, the Senate guards that were guarding Palpatine were they were like that, except they were in blue, not red, and their faces were visible.
And also, everyone has different uniforms. I mean, the stormtroopers on Endor had different uniforms than the traditional stormtroopers in space. So I mean, there's different types of.
Well, that's kind of why I was saying it could be that the Praetorians are part of some kind of organization. You have like it. I mean, I don't want to equate it to like how the stormtroopers are, where it's like you have this outfit for this environment and this outfit for this environment. I mean, for all we know, it could be a symbol of rank. So,
well, it's kind of like, look at it like the Secret Service. You have the guys with like the nice press suits that guard the politicians, and then you have the guys that have to dress like bums and figure out where the trouble is.
Yeah.
Like.
So, Andrew, I will drop your comment now because that was a little preemptive. Yes, R.I.P. Paz Vizsla.
You don't know he's dead.
Hey, this is one of those times where we actually saw the body.
I was gonna say it was pretty blatant.
Darth Maul got cut in half.
Yeah, but
we didn't see his body though.
Paz got stabbed several times, so
I like it. It was a short fight, but I loved the choreography. I loved that they were stabbing the junctions in his armor. I was like, yes, finally, that is awesome.
Aim for the soft spots.
I kind of liked how they strayed away from like actual fight choreography and made it look like an organized like wrestling match. Like he's clotheslining people and he's kicking them off cliffs, and he's just it was like brutal.
Yeah.
And then it's like when the Praetorian Guard came out, I could almost hear like Jerry the King Lawler be like, "Oh no, JR, it's the Praetorian Guard!"
Do 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 do.
Gideon was there. He was in his new. We talked about it a little bit. His new suit made from Beskar armor with the Darth Maul helmet. He demanded the Darksaber back from Bo-Katan, which I don't understand what his claim to that was.
She gave it to him in the agreement in the story.
Well, I got that, but he lost it. He lost it to Din Djarin, who in turn lost it to the robot monster.
I mean, you turned your back on a nation's leader and slaughtered their people. I don't think you're going to accept the results when you lose in any particular fashion.
Maybe he doesn't care so much about the. Maybe he doesn't care so much about the saber itself. Maybe he cares more about the kyber crystal in it.
I think he cares about the saber because the saber is a symbol, and the saber is basically the saber is like a scepter. If you've got the scepter, you rule the kingdom, kind of thing. So, I think for him it's a symbol, and he has to have it in order to.
I mean, you said it earlier in the episode. Maybe he is Mandalorian, and maybe he sees it. Maybe he came from like high society Mandalore, and he sees it as a legitimate claim. Maybe it's from his lineage. Maybe it's maybe it's something that will be explained. But he might come from a bloodline that designed it, or initially owned it,
or he was a Maul follower.
Or he was a Maul follower, and
he was part of a. It was Death Watch that was following Maul, but they changed their name when they forgot what they changed it to, though.
Maybe he's related to the armorer, and they had a split because he took his mask off. You never know.
Or maybe he just took his label maker and put his name on it.
He took his Dremel and etched his initials in it. See, it's mine. Mine. He's got the receipt at home with the serial number on it. See?
I did that to one of my best friends when I worked at a bar. I took his beer popper because I lost mine, and he carved his name into it. So I crossed it out and just put my name. He was like, "Hey, where's mine?" I was like, "No, that's mine." He was like, "No, it's not, you idiot. Give it back to me." I was like, "Okay, I'll just do it with my hands."
Okay, fine.
Okay, fine.
Anyway, so Paz died, and that was the end of the episode, and it was very depressing. But I got to thinking about it too, and the first two seasons have had the season before the season finale. The episode before the season finale has always been rather dark, and it's like, oh my gosh, how are they going to resolve this? You had the second season where the Dark Troopers were
taking
they
Grogu
flew
away.
down, and they took Baby Yoda away, and Grogu. I'm sorry.
Well, this is where you see how someone who's from the generation of the 70s and 80s really designed this, because this is like a typical Nintendo boss. The episode before is the one that it's like, whoa, holy crap.
Yeah.
This is crazy. And then they're going to get to the next boss, and it's going to be kind of easygoing, and then it's all going to unfold, and you're going to be like, wow, okay. This is how it ends, huh? So, and that's how they do it. That's how they did it in the first two seasons, and that's how they're going to do it in this one. But I'm interested to see what they're going to do with good old Jin now that he's imprisoned. I see a hefty monologue coming from Moff Gideon.
Oh, of course, he has to. I'm curious as to when, at this point, because I know season 3 is just going to end with a big bang. We've got one more episode left. It's going to end with a big bang, and they haven't mentioned as to when they're going to start filming season 4, and I'm just like,
they haven't even.
I'm already
mentioned
craving
if there is,
season 4, and
they haven't even mentioned if there is a season 4.
I thought there was. I thought they had said that there would be.
The Mandalorian's a cash cow. They're not gonna give up on that one. When it stops making money, they'll let it go.
Well, it's already declined in viewership, sadly, and I don't know
Yeah,
why.
And I can't figure that out. What are your thoughts on that? Because I've seen a lot of things now to where it's like, oh, the first 2 seasons were great, and this third season sucks. But I've had a lot of fun with this third season.
My thoughts on it are, I think it's the same thing that's happening with Marvel. Is it's too much content too fast, and you're losing casual viewers. I think they're pumping out. They're just pumping out content. They're churning it out. They're churning it out. And it's the same thing that happened to Andor. A lot of people don't even remember Andor even existed, and they're going back and watching it now. And I think I liked Kenobi, but I think the way they marketed it and what you got is what turned a lot of people off, because it was marketed as an adventure between Kenobi and Luke, and then they did the bait and switch, and it's the show that we got, which I thought was good, and I thought it was done very well, but a lot of people were mad at how it was marketed and how it was presented.
Where's Chris? We need Chris on this one because.
Oh Lord,
Well,
no.
Well, here's the thing.
He's got some strong opinions.
A lot of these viewership numbers are dependent on how the show is marketed. So whenever and we see this all the time, whenever it's not what you expect, you're going to see a decline in viewers simply because whenever people don't get what they think they're going to get, they get turned off by it. But there's that, and there's also a mixture of a lot of different factors. I mean, that just like you said, John, basically audience fatigue. There is that too, or there's people who you see this a lot in like YouTube Let's Players who do like a series of videos on one game. The first episode will get like 900,000 views. The second episode's going to get like 700,000. Third episode's going to get maybe 600,000, and you're going to see a steady decline simply because people watch it when they're excited about it, but don't when they're not.
Right.
And it's also, and I will say, a lot of Star Wars fans, the loudest ones at least, I won't say the majority, I'll say the ones that cry the hardest, it'll be like, give us something different. And Lucasfilm's like, we did that with Andor. And then it's like, give us something different. Give us something different from that. We did that with the sequel trilogy. We don't know what we want.
Yeah. I think that's what it boils down to, honestly. Nobody just knows exactly what they want. They could have made Heir to the Empire, done the exact storyline to it, and people would still have been mad because they didn't do it. They didn't do it right.
Well, to paraphrase Cam from earlier, you could go to each Star Wars fan that cries on the internet, and you could give them a briefcase of $100,000 and be like, thank you so much for loving our product. Thank you so much for being so loyal. And they'll open it and be like, these bills are out of order and wrinkled, damn it. Ha! And it's like, I don't know what you want from me.
It sucks that more people can't have a reasonable attitude about it. Like, I don't like the prequel trilogy very much, but I'm still glad that it's there.
I mean, and flip that, and I don't like the sequel trilogy that much, but it's part of the lore. So, I mean, you kind of have to, deal with it.
I like them both, and they're both Star Wars, so that makes it good for me.
I mean,
Star Wars is Star Wars, except for Resistance. We don't play with that.
I love episodes 4, 5, and 6. Like episodes 1, 2, and 3, and 7 and 9 are okay.
Oh, and there's a new show coming out that starts May 4th. Actually, that Junior Jedi Knights. It's a kids show. I'm already going to tell you. I'm probably not going to like it, but two, I'm probably going to have to watch every episode.
So
mainly because Samuel's into shows like that, where it's like Spidey and his amazing friends.
That's what I was about to compare it to. That my daughter's into that right now,
and that's exactly what it is too.
Yeah. So I'll probably end up watching every episode, not by my own.
Like the most serious episode of that series is going to be like all those little kid Jedi banding together to rescue a kidnapped cat or something.
Yeah, pretty much. We got to get the cat out of the tree. How do we do it? Let's cut the tree down with our lightsabers. No,
Daddy Palpatine.
Let's use the Force.
Daddy Palpatine is kidnapped again, and it's gonna be like Emperor Palpatine, like in a Dick Dastardly character. Like,
I'll get you next time, Gadget.
Okay, Debbie, did we miss anything? We're right at an hour.
No. I mean, I have some theories.
Go ahead. Call it. We're
So-
called Debbie's theories.
Yeah,
This is a new
Debbie's
segment of
theory.
the show.
Half the time they don't pan out, but you never know. I might get lucky.
We're still
Yeah.
waiting on Mephisto.
Yeah. Eventually. Yeah. So the episode's called The Spies, plural. So we know Kane definitely is from the beginning of the episode. At least I knew she was always working with Moff. I don't know about anybody else, but
I didn't.
No, it was blatantly obvious. I mean,
it was.
No, it was not. I mean, she just wanted her. She thought it was. She was turning up the comfort level on the
oh,
thing.
please.
She
So
had a
anyway,
yellow biscuit waiting for him.
she's the first spy. So who are the other spies?
The armor.
I'm thinking the armor. Possibly some, if not all, of the, I call them the old Mandos, the surface Mandos, the pirate Mandos, whatever you want to call them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that was just all.
That's
all
actually
That was
a very good point, because if they're navigating that planet, how do they not see any of that coming in?
Oh, the Imperials?
Yeah.
No idea.
If they're navigating that planet and they're living there,
And they knew exactly where the forge was.
yeah,
And they knew exactly
so
how to. We're going to take you right there. They would have known. Maybe they are. Maybe they are the spies.
I didn't even think of that. That's a good pull, because
Wow.
I'm just going over it in my head now, and I'm like, these guys had a ski boat, and they've been just going back and forth, and they know
Why
where
would-
the forge is.
Why
How
would
did they
have
not
seen
see any of this coming in?
Yeah.
So yeah,
that and the fact that, okay, so conveniently, the armorer is taking all these, people who are too weak back to the fleet. Why? Possibly to take over the fleet and kill all the Mandos that are on there. And who's to say? Well, yeah, I think she went back to take these so-called weak people who, I don't know, I didn't see any proof of that, and to take over the fleet.
I would not be surprised if at the end of this series, I mean, not the series, at the end of the season, I've been watching British TV, so I called it a series. At the end of this season, if there's a standoff in the last scene between the armorer and Moff Gideon, and then the armorer takes off her mask and they're somehow connected with each other.
Oh.
Well,
Maybe-
there is some,
Maybe it's Omega.
yeah, there is some
Yeah.
that the armorer is actually, and you have to go back to Clone Wars, and I'm not sure I'm pronouncing her name right, Rusk Cast, who was one of Maul's followers. She was standing right next to the Vizsla guy. I can't remember his name.
Previous.
Paz?
Pre-
Oh,
pre-Vizsla.
pre-Vizsla.
Yeah.
So it's it's pre-Vizsla and past Vizsla?
Paz. P-A-Z.
Is there going to be a current Vizsla?
No, his son's name is Garrett or something like that. I mean, it's like he said his name. It's like I was like, well, that doesn't fit.
Yeah, you have these people who all have the cool names, and then the kid's just called Jerry.
Jerry Vizsla.
No, it's Ragnar.
He sells
Ragnar. Yeah, that's even worse.
He sells cars.
I like Ragnar. I think it's
Um, But you also have to wonder too, because now Debbie got the old hamster spinning the wheel in my head. All of a sudden, the armor is this purist, and you can't take your mask off. And then all of a sudden, she's telling Bo, take your mask off and go get the rest of the Mandalorians.
Yeah,
So
that was sus.
I mean, I think I'm I think I'm onto something with the armor
Debbie,
being
did
there,
you
and I
just
think
say sus.
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I think,
How could
Like-
you?
You're using those kids lingo.
I
Darn
think
kids,
I'm
get off my lawn.
I'm
I
on
think-
social media all day. What do you think? I do. That's all I hear. It's so
I-
sweet.
IDK. IDK.
I mean,
I
I
do.
think I'm onto something with the armor, and I think Debbie's kind of reinforcing it. So
Well, and I think, and to go along with your theory, John, of she made some kind of deal with Gideon, and more than likely, yeah, I mean, he's got to tie up loose ends, so more than likely he could take her out. And by the way, who the hell's making all these suits? Who's making all the best car suits?
Nicolas
okay, so
Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
show you want
I
want.
will never not
So-
bring him up.
so you want 600
Double
best
negative,
cars.
sir.
You want 600 best car suits for how many troops? No. I'm Nicolas freaking Cage, man.
Here's the thing is, and actually this harkens back to the first scene to where they were talking about resources and what they have available to them and stuff like that. And was it Paleon? It was one or two of them were talking to one of the other guys and were like, you're the one amassing everything for the fleet. And again, that's what I'm thinking is, okay, all I can think of is, oh, there's a big fleet of Star Destroyers on Exegol. So,
And I kind of like how Moff Gideon came in and just like puppet mastered that whole thing. He's like, I don't think it's fair you're sitting on all those resources while all of us are wanting.
yeah. Well, and look at him. He's sitting on Mandalore. He's sitting on a friggin' planet full of resources.
Yeah, and they don't know that. I mean, he's playing under the radar. And when he first walked into that meeting, as he's walking into that meeting, you see those tanks that have
The cloning tanks. Yes.
yeah. And I think he's trying to clone his own stuff, and not for
Is that how Snoke comes about?
not for well, that could be not for
for
the Emperor,
Palpatine.
but for himself to create some kind of loyal
Clone
army.
army.
Wonder where he got that idea from. But
From
anyway.
Cypher Diaz. Duh.
Let's see. There was another thing.
No. Yes. No.
That whole scene just cracked me up.
Well, okay. So there on the pirate ship, there was a fight between a masked Mandalorian and an unmasked Mandalorian, and
Whoops and pause.
Grogu steps between the two. They're knife fighting each other. Grogu steps and says, "No," and Bo-Katan says to Din, she says, "You taught your apprentice well," and he says, "He didn't learn that from me." Didn't he say the same thing in the first episode?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He didn't learn that from me.
Oh,
Mhm.
if only the West Side Story had a Grogu.
Yeah.
So many lives would be saved.
So, no. What else,
Yes.
Debbie? I'm sorry, I interrupted you and came up with my own thing.
Oh no, that's all right. No, that's my thing. Was that I think the armorer is in cahoots. She's one of the spies. The pirate Mandos, that was just too hinky.
I'm
Too much of a clink-a-dink.
So help me
Here's a-
God
here's
if
a thought.
Boba Fett and the Power Rangers show up to save the day.
Here's a thought, though. I got to think about this because when Din Djarin first landed on Mandalore and they were exploring things, he found Mandalorian armor. He found helmets and things like that. I mean, that was obvious. He picked one of them up and he was looking at it. So maybe those guys on the ship weren't even Mandalorians. Maybe they were stormtroopers. And Gideon said, "Okay, go take this ship and y'all go out there, and maybe
Crash.
nobody survived.
Crash
or-
course in history. Here you go. Just go over
Yeah.
all this. These are the talking points.
My other thought. So the armorer, being the spy that she is, or that I think she is,
in
She
theory.
is.
that she was put into place to keep an eye on at least this small faction of Mandalorians. And then when Bo and Din, when they came around, and then all of a sudden she's like, oh yeah, you've seen the mythosaur, so you're gonna unite all the Mandalores. I think she was sent there, or she was put there specifically to spy on the Mandos, and if and whenever they decided to get together and retake Mandalore, she would report back to Gideon and let him know. But he did sound surprised when Kane told him that things didn't go as planned.
Well, maybe she wasn't supposed to know that.
That could be. I don't know. But I think she was put there to spy on him and to keep tabs. And
I think maybe it was the things didn't go as planned because he said something about. She said no, it wasn't the Republic, it was the Mandalorians, and he was upset about that, knowing that. Whoop, my wife is printing something. Knowing that he shouldn't be expecting anything from the Mandalorians because the armor's in place to keep tabs on things.
So what do you think they're going to interrogate? Why did they capture Din?
Then
Just specifically him. And why are they going to interrogate him?
Because I think Moff Gideon still has a hard-on for Grogu. And he didn't realize Grogu was in that robot suit.
Could be.
Yes, Stephanie. Yes, that's what I was about to say.
to trade for Grogu. Stephanie calls it.
Or does he have his own version of the Mind Flayer? And he'll wipe his mind so he doesn't remember Grogu or being part of the Mandalorians.
Oh, that would be sad.
At that point, I would rather have a noble execution.
One of the guys who plays Din, one of the stunt doubles or whatever you want to call him, he put out a tweet, or maybe it was on Instagram, I forget which one. But he said this next episode, you may regret asking for more because it's gonna hurt.
Oh,
And I'm like, oh shit.
they're gonna blow up the Razor Crest again. That one hurt. I saw that happen. I was like, no. I love that
So
ship.
yeah, I don't know if some stuff's gonna go down. I'm really hoping Bobo come in and try to save the day.
With the Power Rangers?
No, the Power Rangers are the Tatooine.
No, that I have erased that from my memories.
I kind of want to see Boba come in with the Fennec just sniping people out from the distance.
Yeah, Boba and Fennec. Yes, I would like to see them come in and try to save the day or whatever. But that's my theories. Whether or not I need to write these down to make sure I can take credit.
Yeah. We got it on video. You got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Shameless plugs. Debbie, what have you got for us shameless plug wise?
Tomorrow night, I will be again on the Geek and I podcast. We are doing Federation Fridays. Right now, we're doing Picard. Another awesome episode today. So we'll be talking about that tomorrow. And then Monday on MCU Mondays, Other than we're not talking about MCU because there is absolutely nothing going on with MCU right now until May.
It's all right. MTV doesn't show music.
And yeah, so we'll be talking the Super Mario Brother movie.
Not the Bob Hoskin one. The new
No.
one that just came out.
The
with
new
Chris
Come
Pratt.
on, man. He had a wall of wrenches that he really liked.
John Leguizamo and Dennis Hopper.
He's really mad about that movie, by the way.
Actually, I was gonna say, I'm not gonna say how, but I have come into the not possession, but I now have Paramount Plus, so I have been watching Picard now. I'm about halfway through the first season, so
Ooh, he's the bald guy that took William Shatner's place, right?
yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
Cam, shameless plugs. Got anything?
Yeah, new Cam and Focus coming out day after tomorrow. It was originally going to be about darker moments in kids' movies, but with Star Wars Celebration and all of the complaints that everybody's been lodging about Daisy Ridley coming back, it has inspired me to go a different direction.
I'll bet.
So it's basically going to be I don't want to say a rant because that kind of has a lot of negative implications, but it's going to be a video about how I discuss of me discussing how the Star Wars fandom affects one's enjoyment of Star Wars.
I will agree with that just based on the title. Just based on what you said, I will agree with that. Okay. And that's day after tomorrow. So Saturday?
Day after tomorrow. Yep.
Awesome. We'll be looking for it. John, shameless plugs.
Yeah, I have an article I just published about Star Wars.
Before you go any further, John, there have been a lot of articles published about Star Wars over this past weekend.
Well, if you'll let me explain, David.
I'm just saying.
God. Anyway, this one's about how I'm hoping that this Daisy Ridley movie is the close to the chapter of the Skywalker era. No offense to Daisy Ridley. I think I applaud her for coming back. She's giving the fans a second chance. I think we should give her a second chance. But I would like to see a passing of the torch. I would like to see the Skywalker saga closed. Close the book.
Closed.
It is closed.
She's a Palpatine who's named Skywalker.
So
how is that closed?
I'm gonna say this.
It's closed. All the originals are gone.
Yeah.
Okay, but she's still a Palpatine, which is continuing the story with the Skywalker name.
So
end it.
No.
Yes.
No, I don't see it.
Debbie, we've agreed on so much and we've come so far in this group therapy. Come on.
Just because she took the Skywalker name, because who in the hell would want to have the Palpatine name?
She could have. That old lady didn't know who she was. She could have been like, I'm Ray Star Fox. Yeah.
No, his own son didn't even take the Palpatine name.
Who? Anakin?
My name is
Her father.
Darklighter.
Ray's father didn't even take the Palpatine name.
Okay, neither did Anakin, but that still doesn't change the fact that it's a continuation of the Skywalker saga. I would like to see a passing of the torch. Palpatine. Yes, he was.
He wasn't.
Who's his dad?
The Force. And Anakin was conceived by the Force in response to the growing dark side.
You're missing the whole point of that Darth Plagueis the Wise speech, my friend.
No.
I mean, canonically, he's not.
Mace Windu's father.
There you go.
It's Mace. Oh, actually, you know what? It's Ki-Adi-Mundi. Ki-Adi-Mundi is the father. Because he has to repopulate.
I also, on the lighter side of things, no pun intended, I have an article on a video game coming out either tomorrow or the next day. It depends on how much I get done tonight. I don't know if anyone's a baseball fan, but MLB The Show recently released. I've been playing it. It's the best edition of the game they've released in the 23 years they've been doing it. They've been doing it since about year 2000. And they really outdid themselves. They have a comprehensive history of the Negro Leagues, which is awesome. You learn a lot. So it's educational. It's fun. They up the gameplay a little bit. And I have an article coming out about that in about 1 to 2 days. So
Cool. For me, let's see. I was fortunate enough night before last, to have a guest spot on Captain's Logs and Lightsabers. So we sat and talked about Celebration, some of the stuff from Celebration. That's one of our podcasts here on GNN, which you can find those basically anywhere podcasts, or Apple, Amazon, wherever you listen to your podcast. Just look for Geek News Now, you'll find it. Captain's Logs and Lightsabers. I'm not sure exactly when the episode's going to drop, but I'm sure it will be very soon. Also June Fan Expo, can't wait. It's going to be a blast. I'm going to plug that every time just because. And then next week, season finale I almost said Captain's Logs and Lightsaber. Next week, season finale of Mandalorian. So, which next week's the season finale. We got one more week between, and then May the 4th. So May the 4th is quickly upon us. We will have Visions on May the 4th, and we will have Young Jedi Knights on May the 4th. But I don't know that that's what we're going to talk about. We're just going to... May the 4th is going to be a Star Wars day. And then May 25th on the Cantina Happy Hour is the 40th anniversary celebration of Return of the Jedi. So that's our we'll have that's on a Thursday night. So we will be talking about Return of the Jedi and nothing but Return of the Jedi, unless we go on tangents, which we tend to do.
Could I have 10 more seconds?
Sure.
Okay, sorry about that. I also will be attending a con in June. Hopefully, I'm waiting for my press passes to Awesome Con. Going to be a great con. A lot of Star Wars people going. Ashley Eckstein will be there. Billy D. Williams will be there, among others. Phil Lamar from Futurama will be there. So nice. I'm hoping I get my press passes approved. And at the end of the month, I have an interview with a local comic book store here in Maryland, Third Eye Comics, for all those people in the Mid-Atlantic area. You might know the name. Steve, super nice guy, has agreed to sit down and do a podcast with me for an hour. And last but not least, I will be on the Geek Gauntlet podcast this Saturday with Mr. William Morgan, Miss Cat Holler, and the rest of the gang. So join us Saturday.
I was there last Saturday. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, he was.
We had a blast. We went long, but we had a blast.
I almost passed out from laughter. We had a good time. My wife made a guest appearance. It was crazy. So join us Saturday at 10. And that's it. Take it away, cool. Dave.
Look for Geek News Now on all the social media outlets: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, wherever you are. Just look for Geek News Now. Don't look for GNN because you get something else.
I think I was put on a list.
Now. It's possible. So that all that being said, go find us on social media, like and subscribe so you can see when all of our cool shows and everything's coming out. We will see you all again next week in the Cantina Happy Hour. Until then, may the Force be with you all.